Hello everyone, welcome to chemistry class. We have been discussing the chapter number 3, element, compound and mixture, and the last part of this chapter, how we can separate the different mixtures from each other, the different physical methods that we will discuss in today's class. Also you would have seen the syllabus for chemistry for half yearly, that is chapter 1 and chapter 4. The remaining chapters, that is we have been discussing chapter 2 and 3, that have been excluded, including this present chapter 3 also. But I don't wish to leave the chapter in middle, so today I am making one more video that is for this chapter, and we will finish the topics related to this chapter also. It will all be useful in the later chapters also. So although it is not a part of the syllabus right now, still we will complete the chapters, we will complete the topic, and then we will move on to the chapter 4 in the next video. So here we will begin the today's class, that is separating the component of the mixture. We can separate various component of the mixture, various substances of the mixture, as mixture is obtained by combining different pure substances, that is elements and compounds, and we can get the element or compound present in the mixture back by the physical methods like filtration, like condensation, like evaporation, like distillation. All of them one by one let us now understand. Here the principle of separation is given. What are the principle of separation? That we will not see in this separately, but as we are learning the methods of separation, one by one we will see on what principle they are based. So rather than studying separately, we'll include them in the study of the method of the separation. So the first method right now here given is sieving. This is a very simple method, and we can separate the substances on the principle, that is difference in the particle size. The smaller particles and the larger particles, they can be easily separated by the method that is sieving. And what is actually used here? We are using a sieve, and using sieving we are able to separate the smaller particles from the bigger one. That is, the mixture is stirred or shaken on a mesh like structure, that is a sieve only. And if when the mixture is stirred or shaken, then the smaller particles will pass through the smaller holes. Smaller holes are there on the mesh or on the sieve, and through the holes only the smaller particles will fall down, or the bigger particles, they will remain upwards. So that is what is called as sieving. In the kitchen, in the day-to-day activity, you may be observing bran and flour can be separated by this method. Bran is separated from the flour by the method of sieving. Next one, in the construction sites, in the sand and the stones can be separated from each other using sieving only. When they are shaking the mixture of sand and stone, the stones will remain upwards, the sand will fall down from the mesh or from the sieve. So this is how we can separate different solid mixtures. One of them is larger in size, another one is smaller in size. Smaller particles fall down, bigger ones remain upwards on the mesh only. Next one, now magnetic separation. The name itself is telling magnetic means what? We can separate the magnetic substances from the non-magnetic substance. So this is the principle that is given. It is used to separate what? A magnetic substance from a non-magnetic substance. Let us see now example of this. Like we can separate iron from sulfur. Iron and sulfur, if it is mixed together, iron powdered form and sulfur also powdered form, not the solid, not the exact crystal or the solid, rigid solid one. I am not talking rigid iron metal, I am talking of the powdered form. If both the things are present in the powdered form, then it is very difficult to separate them. But using a magnet, it is very easy. If you put a magnet above the mixture of iron and sulfur, iron being magnetic, it will be attracted towards the magnet, and all the iron particles will separate outside from the mixture, that is of iron and sulfur. Sulfur will remain behind. Similarly, we can use iron and chalk mixture. In this case also same thing, iron particles will separate out, they will come closer to the magnet. So this method of magnetic separation is used for separating the magnetic and non-magnetic substances. In the factories it is done. We are using a magnetic wheel. A magnetic wheel is there, on that a belt is there. The mixture will get separated and two heaps will come. You can see in the diagram in the book that is given. Next is sedimentation and decantation. First of all, sedimentation and then decantation. Two processes are done together one by one. So what is the principle here? Let us read. This method is useful for separating the solid liquid mixture. In this case, what is there? Solid is heavy in weight and the liquid is lighter. So one thing should be heavier, another one should be lighter, or we can say another one should not be able to dissolve it. So in this case, like sand and water, like for example, so if we are taking sand and water, sand will settle down at the bottom. In the beaker you can see sand is settled down together. Sand particles do not dissolve in water. So if we are using sand and water mixture, then what will happen? Sand will collect down. This collecting down of the sand, this process is called as sedimentation. ये क्या बन गया? Sediment बन गया. So because of that it is called as sedimentation. And then we will do the decantation. Decantation क्या होता है? We are simply pouring out the water from one container to another. This is decantation. So two processes are together. First of all, sedimentation, we will form a sediment of the solid substance. It will collect down at the lower part of the beaker or any container where mixture is there. Then we will take that container and pour out the liquid outside. The solid will remain behind. So the liquid will collect in the another jar, another beaker. The solid, that is sediment, will remain in that earlier container only. So this is sedimentation. So reading part you can do. I hope all things I have explained. Next now, filtration. Filtration, normal filter paper is used in this case. How to make a filter paper, that is given in the figure here. Figure 3.7 you can see. This is a cone of filter paper. We have to fold the filter papers into different folds, and using that we can make a cone, and then a mixture which has to be filtered out, it is poured in this. So in this diagram, in this photograph, not diagram exactly, it is a photograph. You can see here sand and water mixture is there, and when we are pouring in this, both the sand and water can fall down. So only the water particles will be able to filter downwards, but on the filter paper what will collect? Sand will collect. So sand will come upwards and water will come downwards. So this is how, using a filter paper, we are separating the sand and water from each other. So that is why this method is filtration. So this is about separating the solid and the liquid mixture. A liquid and a solid can be separated from each other, but the solid should be insoluble. If the solid has dissolved in the liquid, then what we will do? In that case, we will apply the another method that is given here in the point number 5. That is dissolution followed by evaporation and crystallization. So first of all, dissolution, you understand. Dissolution means if any substance is able to dissolve. For example, sugar and water can easily dissolve. For example, salt and water can easily dissolve. So if salt, we have to separate now. Salt has easily dissolved in water. How we will separate this salt now? So for that we are using this method that we are learning, dissolution followed by evaporation or crystallization. Either we will do evaporation, otherwise we can make crystals, that is crystallization. First of all, dissolution is done. So we are taking a solid mixture. One substance of that solid mixture is soluble in water, another one is insoluble. For example, now already I told salt or sugar in water. Another one is given here, that is chalk or sawdust, that is insoluble. So one substance is soluble in water, another substance is insoluble in water. तो salt और sugar में से कोई एक चीज़, ऐसे ही chalk और sawdust any one चीज़, any one thing we are taking. For example, we have now taken salt and chalk. By appearance they may look similar, both are white color powders and दोनों आपस में मिक्स हो रखे हैं. Salt और chalk both are mixed together. How we will separate now? We will take the mixture of salt and chalk and put in water. On dissolving this salt and chalk, both mixtures are dissolved in water, and what will happen now? Only one thing will be dissolved in water. Salt will dissolve in water, but chalk will not dissolve in water. It will keep on floating upwards. So one thing has dissolved in water. जो चीज़ dissolve हो गई है, that substance we will say yes, dissolution has taken place. What has taken place is dissolution of salt has taken place. So this is the first step of this particular physical process, dissolution. One substance has dissolved easily. After that, what we can do? We can separate them using evaporation now. So let us see here. Yes, this paragraph we will read. So we have taken, for example, sand and salt mixture. Salt will mix in water, sand does not mix in water. So we will now warm so that the salt will dissolve. After dissolving, what we will do? After that we will filter using the filter paper. We will filter it. On filtering, what will happen? sand will collect on the filter paper, sand has separated outside. ऐसे ही अगर salt और chalk हमने use किया था तो salt will dissolve in water, after that we have to filter it on the filter paper, chalk will collect, salt solution will go downwards. अब salt solution गया है, salt नहीं गया है. Salt solution means salt and water both are there, so that what we have to do, we have to heat it. So the residue means whatever things are remaining, so that will be washed again. That whatever has collected, residue means whatever has collected on the filter paper, so that we will wash with water, and then that substance is separate there, like sand or chalk, that is separate there. Remaining thing that is coming downwards, that is salt, water or salt and salt solution, that can be separated from each other. Salt और water को हम separate कैसे करेंगे? We will heat them. On heating, salt will remain downwards and water will become water vapor, it will evaporate in air. So water evaporates and salt is left behind. So पहले हमने dissolution करा था, and after that we have done evaporation. This is what is called as dissolution followed by evaporation. Second thing is crystallization. Some cases crystallization is also done, not always, but in some cases crystallization is also done. For example, a chemical is there, that is copper sulfate. Its crystals can be obtained. Its common name is called as blue vitriol because of its blue colored crystals. How it is done, you can see here. We have taken the solution of copper sulfate, that is blue color solution. On heating, what will happen? On heating to a high temperature, it will convert into crystals. Water will evaporate and some water will remain in the crystals only. So that is how crystallization is done. So in some cases crystallization is also possible. This preparation I am not reading in details because, as I told, this chapter is not in syllabus, but the physical process are important for you to know. So for that only I am explaining this. Next one is given here, that is distillation. In distillation we can separate the solid and the liquid. One solid is there, another one liquid is there, like salt and water. Salt is a solid, water is a liquid. We can separate them by distillation process also. Evaporation is also possible, but we can do by distillation also. Next one is heterogeneous mixture, like sand and water can be separated by distillation, or chalk and water can be separated by distillation. Many times you would have heard, if you have not done, then in chemistry lab we are using distilled water, that is almost 99.99% pure water. It is not having any impurities. So that is distilled water. By the distillation process, water has become purified. We are using this in the chemistry practicals, in the lab experiments, so that impurities do not affect our reactions. The chemical reactions are not affected. That process is distillation. How the distillation is done? You will first notice the diagram that is given here. Then you should see here in this diagram, you can notice also that fractional distillation diagram is same. Both are same things only small differences there that I will tell later on. So in this case, what we have taken a setup apparatus. We have taken, means all the setup we have taken, and in the container we are boiling the mixture in the distillation flask. On boiling, what will happen? The liquid will boil. Like we have taken the mixture of chalk and water, तो water boil हो जाएगा on 100 degree Celsius. Water will boil and it will move forward, that is water vapor बन जाएंगे, and the vapors will move forward, and on moving forward they will condense. As they will move forward, they will cool down. मिक्सचर को हम हीट कर रहे हैं तो वाटर इवेपोरेट हो जाएगा, बट व्हेन इट विल इवेपोरेट एंड मूव फॉरवर्ड, इट विल कूल डाउन एंड अगेन इट विल कंडेंस इन द Liebig condenser. In this condenser it will cool down and it will collect in the separate container. So in one of the jar, chalk is there, in the right side of the apparatus we will get pure water. So this is how we can separate different substances from each other. Next one, now here you can see fractional distillation. In this method also similar process like distillation only is there, but in distillation we are separating solid and liquid. Solid and liquid can be separated from each other, but in the case of fractional distillation we are able to separate two different liquids. Not only two, even more than two also can be separated. Liquid mixtures can be separated from each other by fractional distillation. What is the principle for this case? What is the condition? That is important. The difference in the boiling point should be there. Both the liquids which we are separating from each other, their boiling point should be different from each other, and also the difference should be of minimum 20 degrees Celsius. More than 20 degrees Celsius anything can be there, but minimum 20 degrees Celsius difference of boiling point should be there. Like alcohol, it can boil at 78 degrees Celsius, and water it can boil at 100 degrees Celsius. If we see the difference 100 minus 78, that is 22 degrees Celsius. So difference कितना हो गया? More than 20 हो गया. If the difference is more than 20, then yes, we can separate this mixture by fractional distillation. So alcohol and water both can dissolve easily in each other. And how we will separate them now? For that we can use the method of fractional distillation. Now as the name fractional is coming, for that is because of a special type of apparatus that is given here. It is called as fractionating column. In this fractionating column, you notice here two things are written: less volatile and more volatile. What is the meaning of volatile? Volatile means something that is able to evaporate, something that evaporates easily in air, like alcohol. Alcohol, if we are keeping in open air, if we are not closing it, or if it is not covered, then it will easily get lost into the air. It will convert into vapors and it will be transferred into the air. Similarly, petrol or diesel or any of the fuel, any of the liquid fuel, so these are generally volatile in nature. They convert themselves into vapors and they are lost into the air, so they have to be kept covered. These are all volatile liquids. Now here you can see more volatile and less volatile. Less volatile means which is not able to convert into vapors easily. The more volatile ones which are having a lesser boiling point and they are easily moving forward into the gaseous form. So in this case, now let us take that example of alcohol only, alcohol and water. For example, we have taken a mixture of alcohol and water. We will take that in this jar or in this distillation flask. In this we are heating this. On heating, what will happen? On heating, temperature will rise. First of all, 78 degrees Celsius temperature comes. That is the boiling point for ethanol or alcohol. तो alcohol क्या होगा? लिक्विड से वेपर में कन्वर्ट होगा. It will move upwards into the fractionating column और उससे आगे मूव करेगा toward the right hand side into the Liebig condenser. Here you can see Liebig condenser is there. इसका काम होता है कंडेंसेशन करना. Condensation is converting of the gas into liquid. So which gas is coming here? That is alcohol vapors are coming here from the apparatus, that is where heating is going on. So alcohol vapors, as they are coming into the Liebig condenser, they will cool down, and due to cooling down they will convert into liquid again. So at the right you can see a separate receiver is there, and in the receiver we will collect the alcohol liquid. After that the temperature will again rise, and as the temperature is coming to be 100 degrees Celsius, then what will happen? Now water vapors will come. Water will convert into vapors at 100 degrees Celsius, and again they will move rightwards into the Liebig condenser. They will reach, and again condensation will take place. अब water vapor का condensation होगा, then on cooling water vapor क्या बन जाएगा? Again it will become water. So water we will collect in the second container. We have to change the receiver container, otherwise both the things will mix again. So पहले one container we will take, in that we will collect the alcohol, in second container we will collect the water. So this is how we can separate different substances from each other. What are some examples given here? Like benzene and toluene can be separated from each other. Boiling points, you can see difference of these boiling point will be minimum 20 or more than 20 also is there. Next, now ethyl alcohol, that is alcohol only, इसका दूसरा नाम होता है ethanol. So ethanol or ethyl alcohol can be separated from water. Boiling point of both things are given. Next is petrol, diesel, kerosene. All these are fuels, and these are separated from the crude oil. Crude oil we are getting from the earth crust. From the earth we are not getting petrol directly. We are not getting diesel directly. We are getting a mixture of all of these, and the mixture of all the different fuels is called as crude oil. That crude oil is refined in the petroleum refineries, and then by the fractional distillation process only we are getting petrol, diesel, kerosene oil and different types of fuels separate from each other. All the different fuels, the petrol, diesel, kerosene, all of them are having different boiling points, and they are separating using the fractional distillation only. So this is all about this fractional distillation. Next, now point number 9, that is sublimation. You would have studied this earlier also. Sublimation is the physical process in which a solid on heating it converts into gas directly. Generally solid on heating converts into liquid, but if it is not converting into liquid, अगर कोई solid melt नहीं हो रहा है और directly gas बन जाता है, then this process is called as sublimation. And the substance which is undergoing sublimation is called as sublimate. It is called as sublimate, or we can say sublimating substance. So what are the sublimating substances? Let us see here. These are the substances which sublimes or which undergo sublimation. First is ammonium chloride, that is NH4Cl. Second one is camphor. camphor, and third one is iodine. These are certain examples of the substances which are undergoing sublimation. तो अगर इनमें से कोई भी substance mixture में present है, then we can separate the mixture substances using sublimation. For example, we have a mixture of camphor and sand. If, for example, only if both the things are mixed together, then we can separate them by sublimation. Similarly, if we have taken ammonium chloride and another thing we are having salt, both are mixed together, both are white color powders only. Salt is white, ammonium chloride also is white color powder. So how we will separate both of them? We will take them both. You see now in the diagram. So we will take that mixture, both of them here in this example, like iodine and common salt. So let us see this example. Iodine and common salt, how we will separate? We will take them both in a china dish. Here you can see this is the china dish, this is the container in which they are kept, and above side what we have taken a funnel से उसको cover कर दिया है, and at the top of the funnel we are keeping a test tube. Otherwise we can place a cotton also here. So we have to just cover it so that nothing will escape outside into the air. So this is how we have closed it using the test tube. And below what we are using, we have the burner here. This is the burner, and we are heating this. We are heating the mixture using a burner. So now on heating, what will happen? On heating, iodine sublimation will start. Iodine solid will convert into iodine vapors. The vapors will start moving upwards and they will try to move outside, but they will collect in the test tube. In the test tube, iodine vapors will collect. That is I2, that is iodine vapors are there which are collecting in the test tube, and then what will remain downside? That is salt will remain downside. So iodine तो ऊपर चला गया, that is gone into the test tube. What is remaining behind is common salt only. This is how we can separate the two substances. One of them is sublimating, another one is non-sublimating. Iodine is sublimating, common salt is non-sublimating. The last method, that is physical process that is given here, is chromatography. In this method we can separate different solids which are present in the same solvent. Different solids present in the same solvent. Solvent is a liquid. For example, different substances present in the ink. In the ink, different pigments are dissolved together, different colors are dissolved together to form a particular ink, and all those different pigments present in the ink can be separated by chromatography. So जितने भी pigments ink में present हैं, they all are solid. All the solids are dissolved in a liquid to form the liquid ink. So we can separate all of them by the process of chromatography. Let us understand this process. Here is a photograph given of the process that is shown here. You can see here we are taking a special type of paper. This paper is called as chromatographic paper. This paper is dipped into the solution. Whatever solution we have to separate from each other. So here you can see we have placed the paper using the paper clip. Using this clip we are holding the paper so that it does not fall down, and it is kept in the beaker. The beaker के अंदर जो mixture है, it will be moving. It will get absorbed by this paper. Paper इसको absorb कर लेगा, and this water, or this not exactly water, this mixture will move upwards. As it is moving upwards, the different pigments which are present in this mixture, they will start moving at different speeds or different rates. One of the pigment will move faster, another pigment will move slower, and as a result of the difference in their ability to move upwards, the different pigments will separate at certain stage. At this one of the corner of this page, of this paper, you can see different colors are visible. These colors are actually different pigments. ये pigment कहाँ से हैं? They have come from this mixture only. The mixture substances are moving upwards in this chromatographic paper, and due to their difference in their ability to move upwards, they are separating from each other. This is the process of chromatography. Here you can see in more details, different pigments are separated from each other. These are the pigments of ink only, which are separated from each other. And the process of what? This is based on the principle of adsorption. In adsorption, two processes are there. One is called as adsorbent. I'll write here. One is called as adsorbent. Another one is called as adsorbate. Adsorbate is what? Adsorbate is the substance on which adsorbent is there. Like our example, what we have used paper. Chromatographic paper हमने use किया है, and we have dipped that in water. So the paper that we have used, the chromatographic paper, that is the adsorbate, जिसके ऊपर adsorption हुआ है, and the adsorbent is what? The liquid or the mixture that we have taken, that is the adsorbent. Two substances are used in this case. One is the paper, another one is a liquid. One will work as adsorbate, another one will work as adsorbent. This full process is called what? This process is called as adsorption. Don't confuse it with absorption. I have written A D, not B. So this is adsorption process. By the principle of adsorption, this process is continuing, that is of chromatography. This full process is explained in this part of the paragraph. All the reading part you can do. Same things I have already explained. So different types of chromatography are there, and the colors which we are able to see, the array of colors we are able to see different colors as I shown you in the photograph. This is called as a chromatogram. Like here, these different colors are visible in this paper. This is called as what? This is called as chromatogram. Now different types of chromatography are there. One of them, some of the names only you learn. One is called as column chromatography, another one is gas liquid chromatography, then we have proficiency liquid this all different types of chromatography are there. Only the names are essential, nothing else is required. So that is all for the different physical process in the table 3.3. This is the summary, again a repetition of all the things, how the different mixtures can be separated from each other. So this page only the repetition of, or we can say the summary of all the points what we have already discussed, that is given here. So no need of repeating the same points again here. The last topic of this chapter, that is the difference between the mixture and the compound. Quickly we will see. First is mixture is impure and compound is pure substances. Second, the substances in the mixture are present in any proportion, but in the case of the compound, the proportion is fixed, like water 2:1 is there, 2 parts of hydrogen, 1 part of oxygen, that is H2O. So fixed proportion hota hai. But in mixture the proportion is not fixed, like air. In air any amount of carbon dioxide can be there. In polluted air more carbon dioxide is there, in clean air less carbon dioxide is there, or we can say more oxygen is there in clean air. Next, point number 3, the components of the mixture have individual properties, but in the case of the compound they do not have individual properties. The point number 4, you can separate the mixture by physical methods. Already we have seen in this today's video all the physical methods one by one we have discussed, like distillation, fractional distillation, chromatography. All these are physical methods and they are used to separate the components of the mixture. But these physical method we cannot use in the case of compounds. For that there are certain other methods like decomposition, electrolysis. All these are separating the compounds, the components of the compounds. So these are chemical methods. So this is all about the difference here. Exercise part is not required as the chapter is cut, but these methods you would have understood how we can separate the different mixtures from each other. So that is all for this chapter. In the next video we will be beginning the chapter number 4. That is all for this class. Thank you.